and he said, "Do I have permission to go upstairs?" And I said, "Yes, go upstairs."
Okay.
And as he's walking or running up the stairs, I hear Dr. Murray's voice. Can't make out.
And at that point, did Alberto hang up the phone?
Alberto hung up on me.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, what are you doing as you're still in downtown LA? What are you doing at this time?
Oh, I remember feeling bad. I don't know what's going on. I remember being scared. So I was just calling. I remember making a lot of phone calls, like, what's going on, you know. And then I found out the ambulance was called. Then I got really like the ambulance. So I remember getting dressed very fast, getting in the car. But I remember it being a lot of traffic, and it took me a while to get to the home.
Okay. So you drove from your location in downtown LA to the Carrollwood house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And during that time, were you continuing to make phone calls and try to get more information?
I remember making a lot of phone calls, yes, sir.
The house, well, I assume you arrived at the house sometime?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know about how long that took?
It seemed like forever. I can't calculate it all, though.
Okay.
Maybe 30, 40 minutes.
Okay. When you arrived at the house, was there an ambulance already at scene?
Yes, sir.
And upon your arrival and seeing the ambulance, what did you do?
Well, as soon as I got there, the ambulance was there, and they were beginning to bring the gurney down. I believe that's the proper term.
Okay.
And
when you say they, who's they?
Forgive me, the medics, the ambulance, the medics.
Okay.
So it was real frantic. I got there when the gurney was coming down. I remember seeing Dr. Murray come down.
And when you say the gurney was coming down, first of all, this is the gurney with Michael Jackson's body on it?
Yes, sir.
Being carried by the paramedics?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where were they bringing the body down?
Down the stairs that I...
And where was Conrad Murray at that time?
At that time, I'm not sure, but I remember seeing him down by the ambulance, kind of giving instructions and talking to medics. I don't want to say giving instructions, but, you know, just talking to medics.
All right. And were the children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, at the location at that time?
Yes, sir.
Where were the children when you first saw them?
Well, when I first got there, that was the first thing I asked, where were the children? I'm not sure if they were already in the car or if I loaded them in the car.
Okay.
But we got them in the car to get ready to follow the ambulance.
Okay. And were you part of that process of either ensuring that they're already in the car or putting them in the car to make sure they were ready to follow their father in the ambulance to the hospital?
Yes, sir.
And as Mr. Jackson was brought down in this gurney, were any precautions made to shield the children from seeing that?
Yes, sir.
What was done?
Well, we were still following procedure. Mr. Jackson wanted them shielded in public, so when he wasn't around, they can go out and no one knew who they were. So when we got there, we took off our jackets. I remember.
No, are you talking about the hospital?
You talking about? Okay.
I'm talking about at Carrollwood.
Oh,
did somebody, you or someone in your presence, ensure that the children avoided seeing this take place?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Were they already in the vehicle at that time?
I don't remember.
Okay. And when you first saw Dr. Murray, what was his physical condition, appearance in your eyes?
Frantic. I knew it was serious
when
I seen him.
And did you see Dr. Murray eventually enter into the ambulance with the paramedics?
I don't remember seeing him, but I think I remember him saying, "I'm riding with the ambulance."
Okay. Then at some point, did the ambulance depart and leave from the location?
Yes, sir.
And did you know where you were going at that time, or were you just following?
We was following.
And what vehicle were you in, or who was in the vehicle with you, I should ask?
I was in a blue Escalade. He had two blue Escalades. I was in one of them. I don't remember which one. We had a driver, security guard, not exactly sure which one.
Okay.
I guess, but myself, the 3 children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, and their nanny, Rosalind Muhammad, I believe.
Okay. So it was you, a driver, the 3 children, and the nanny?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were following the ambulance to whichever hospital it was going to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you describe the scene as you drove toward, in the direction of the ambulance?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, can you describe the scene? Were news cameras around, anything like that?
At the hospital or at the...
On the drive?
Oh, on the drive. I don't remember cameras on the drive, but I believe people were following us.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And where did you eventually drive to?
I believe UCLA
Okay.
Hospital.
And what was taking place? Well, were you there when the paramedics first pulled in at UCLA?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you part of any procedures in either helping them get Michael Jackson into the hospital or helping the children get into the hospital, or what was your role at that time?
I remember I was concerned I was with the children.
Okay. And what did you do?
Shielded them, took off my jacket, and I think we covered up one by one, and we took them inside the hospital.
Okay.
It was cameras everywhere.
There were already?
Yeah, when we got there, it was cameras.
Okay. And did you take the children to any particular location once you got them in the doors of UCLA?
Yes, sir. Once we got them in the doors, one of the hospital staff took us to a private room, placed the children in the room with their nanny, and put a guard outside the door so no one can just walk in.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what did you do at that time?
From there, I went right to where Mr. Jackson's was being, where everything was going on with him. I don't know the proper term, but where he was being held, with doctors working on everything.
Okay. And you were outside this room where they were working on Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, it was just a room with a curtain.
Okay. It's like an emergency room?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what were you doing at that time?
We were just sitting there, just not knowing what's going on. And people would slowly start coming in. His manager came in, Frank DeLeo. Soon after, Randy Phillips came in. And slowly families start coming and,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
At some point then, did you learn that Michael had been pronounced dead?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that was at UCLA?
Yes, sir.
Following your learning that Michael Jackson had been pronounced dead, do you recall an incident where Dr. Murray approached you and made a request that you found odd?
Yes, sir.
First of all, do you recall where that took place?
It was sometime after. It wasn't too long, but it was after the family was already there. The children were with them.
And where were you?
I was in a hallway. I'm not
Okay.
sure which one.
And what, if anything, was the request of Conrad Murray to you?
Well, we were making small talk about how horrible this is, and both of us, I believe, had, was tearing.
Okay.
And he asked, he said that there's some cream in Michael's room, or house, I believe room, that he wouldn't want the world to know about. And he requested that I or someone give him a ride back to house to get it so the world, wouldn't know about the cream.
To get the cream so the world wouldn't know about
That
it?
Michael wouldn't want the world to know about.
Okay. And in response to this request, did you agree to take Conrad Murray back to the house?
No, sir.
In response to this request for him to retrieve this cream, what did you do?
I said, let me check.
And what did you do to check?
I left. Because of the situation, I was emotional. There was a lot going on. I just thought that was the last thing I was really thinking about. So I went to Fahim. Fahim Muhammad. I told him about Dr. Murray's request. And we both agreed that can't happen. You can't go back to the house. I knew that much. So I told Fahim,
Mr. Wallace.
Thank you, Your Honor. What did you tell Fahim?
I told Fahim that we can't let him in the house.
Okay. And did you reach an agreement with Fahim on basically a story you would tell Conrad Murray to justify why you wouldn't let him in the house?
Leading the witness.
The objection is sustained. The answers, if there is one, is stricken. I don't think we got that far. You can refine your question.
Thank you. Did you, in speaking to Fahim Mohammed, did you personally come at or create an answer that you thought would satisfy Conrad Murray?
Well, I told Fahim said, I'm not giving the keys. And I said, well, I don't want to be, I don't know if I said the word mean, but that's more my personality. Fahim didn't care. So I told Fahim I'm going to tell Dr. Murray that. I told Fahim that I was going to tell Dr. Murray that the police had our keys.
Your car keys?
The car keys. And Fahim said, whatever.
Objection non-responsive.
Said is in evidence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sustained.
Did you then tell Conrad Murray that you could not take him back to the house because the police had your keys?
I went back.
Leading the witness.
Did you? Objection sustained. The partial answer stricken. Please disregard. Re-ask.
Did you, after speaking to Fahim Mohammed, go to Conrad Murray and tell him something?
Yes, sir.
What did you tell him?
I told him that we can't take him back. We don't have our keys, and sorry. And not in those words, but
Did you
we
tell
can't
him
take you back.
Did you tell him the police had your keys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that true?
No, sir.
Okay. Why did you make that statement then that the police had your keys if it wasn't true?
I didn't want to say, no, we're not going to take you back. I just probably should have, but I just didn't want to say that.
Okay. Now, following you telling Conrad Murray that you weren't going to take him back because the police had your keys, did you make another request?
Yes, sir.
What did he ask?
He said he was hungry. He haven't eaten all day or all night, something to that effect. And he wanted a ride to get some food.
And did you agree to give him a ride to get some food?
No, sir.
What, if anything, did you tell him?
I remember just kind of shrugging it off like, okay, kind of. I didn't give an answer. I don't remember. But he got the point that I wasn't.
And following these requests by Conrad Murray, did you make any attempt to make sure the house was essentially on lockdown?
Yes, sir.
What did you do?
I immediately went to Fahim again, Fahim Mohammed. I told Fahim what Dr. Murray asked, and I said, just make sure you call security and I was under the impression security didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
So I told him to make sure security doesn't let anyone in or anyone out. Remember, I used the term, just lock it down, just for the simple fact that Dr. Murray requested to go back.
Okay. And at some point, after Dr. Murray requested the second request to be taken to get some food, did you ever see Dr. Murray again?
No, sir.
At some point later in the day, did you provide police detectives with Conrad